Okay, this is part 2. Be sure to watch part 1 before you listen to this part 2. All right, now we're looking at the Lilith conjunct the moon. So they're saying when you have a moon, a Lilith conjunct the moon, it's like fusing two moons together. And she said what you're going to be looking at is the mother and the anti-mother. And that's interesting. She said the moon here is the Black Madonna. She's extra potent and she's a Virgo archetype. Now, I just got finished telling you about all that darkness and all that black I told you all about. To make sure you understand it. But now I want to take you somewhere else. But remember, Virgo is the Black Madonna. And that's really Isis. Now, in your Bible, gotta listen up. Bible says that darkness, everything came out of darkness. All creation came out of darkness. That's Genesis chapter 1, John chapter 1. Now, the Bible tells you when God gave Moses the 10 commandments in Exodus chapter 20, that Moses went into the darkness where God was. Exodus 20 verse 21. The Bible tells you that at the 6th hour at the cross, darkness came. When Jesus said, today you'll be with me in paradise. Luke 23, 43 to 46. Also, and that was at the 6th hour. Now in John chapter 4 at the 6th hour, Jesus met the woman at the well. And she said the well is deep. That's John chapter 4. Keep in mind, this is one chapter after Nicodemus came to Jesus in the nighttime. The nighttime is the evening or the darkness. Okay? So if you think about what I just said previously, it ties right in with this. The Black Madonna. See, so now no matter how you look at it, her chart has something to do with the mother, son, possibly even the mother, daughter. So she's saying that this combination has to successfully merge the paradox of the virgin and the whore, or the very manifestation of Lilith can surface. So now she's saying this is sheer priestess and occult ability at the highest level. I'm going to say it again. This is sheer priestess and occult ability at the highest level. And you see Vesta. See, I told you Vesta can be a priestess or she could be a whore. We already discussed that in the second house. And remember, your second house is going to be highly sensual because it's still ruled by Taurus. And Taurus is very sexual, very sensual. And you've got the Aries energy there. So Aries is really going to be aggressive. And they're saying the same thing the other one said about the conjunction. It can work as a hard or soft aspect. So when it's good, it's very good. But when it's bad, it's terrible. I feel like I'm listening to Donna Summers back in the 1970s. So now this person can be popular out of being unpopular. And they often have an offbeat sense of humor. So these people like the absurd and surreal. So the woman and the goddess have a huge influence in their life. Now it says this can be because they were brought up by a single mother or by one who has quite bewitching and manipulative to the point it felt like she was inside them. And if you really know your mother and you're being honest, see, we're scared to death to talk about mom, but I'm going to tell you right now, you better talk about it because your ass will go crazy. You got to talk about the mom, the dad, the dysfunctional family. You got to talk about it all. You got to stop repressing it, and you got to get it out. But that's how you get better. And like I said, I've been here long enough to know this planet, to know human nature, all that stuff. And I can see it in people. They don't mind talking about certain things as long as you approach them a certain way. But you can't say, hey, come here, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about this. They're not going to want to talk. They're going to all of a sudden get very defensive and everything. Now, if y'all were just hanging out or whatever, then maybe they might want to talk. But me personally, I knew I came here with a purpose. Even when I was real young, I knew I was sent. Like I'm here with a purpose. And I proved that. But me personally, I just don't give a lot of time for stuff like that. The reason being because people are always going to go the way they want to go. Like, if you've been on this planet long enough, you've seen many, many times when somebody said, oh, I'm really going to be devoted to this. This is what I really want to do. Yada, yada, yada. And then in a little bit of time, they don't have no interest to pursue that. You see people jump into marriage way too fast, and then they want to jump out just as fast. So, for me personally, I learned a long time ago, I can't do that. What I do is set up many ways, and I use many medias to get the message out. But after that point, each person has to take up their own, they have to make up their own decision. Because somebody's always going to tell you, oh, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and then something's going to test them or come up. That's why if you notice, I keep telling you about Matthew chapter 13. Because Matthew chapter 13 tells you how it really is. You have the truth that Messiah gives to certain people, and then he gives the BS to the masses. Because the masses are not going to accept it, and it's ultimately going to lead to their demise. So that's Matthew chapter 13, Matthew chapter 7. But then he tells you in Matthew 13 about the people that get this information, and what happens. Some of them at first are interested, but the moment any type of test or temptation comes, they forget about it and go along with what they're going to do. So that's why you can't sit there and spend a whole lot of time trying to help somebody see the light. Anything a person wants, they're going to get it. Because with that seeing the light, you might put 4 or 5 years into a person that you just wasted 4 or 5 years of your life, and they still allow something to distract them or pull them away. So I make sure people are fortified if they want it, but then I have to continue to move on. And when you study the ministry of the Messiah, he did the same thing. The Messiah did not stay in any one area. He was moving because he knew he only had a short period of time, according to Scripture. So like I said, whenever you see that, but that's why Lilith would be retrograde if it's conjunct the moon, because the moon may be implying a mother who kind of caused that repression. But I'm telling you, because of the numerology, this goes back to past lives and stuff like that. And you see it all over your chart. But this person will glorify the feminine. So now, if a man, that they're saying if a man has like Lilith, like this, that he may have a problem with women, he may not like women. He said a man will go from extremes. One moment they may be worshiping the woman, but then the next minute they're abusing the woman. Now, this woman with this conjunction may actually don't want to get married and may not want to have their own children. They may like babysit for somebody else or might adopt or whatever. But what I would tell this woman that's listening is this. Because you keep having a mother son situation come up. Now I don't know what that's about, but if it is where that son is not alive, then that's him calling out to you. And I would strongly advise you to make peace with him in that situation. That's why I be telling y'all allow this world to dumb you down. You don't understand you're messing with sacred stuff. You are messing with ancient sacred stuff. You don't know who you are, and when somebody tries to tell you, you don't care. All you're asking about is money. Oh, I want to be a singer. Where's my twin at? Where's my relation at? It's totally selfish. You have to pay for that. You're in violation of universal law, and you're going to pay for that. You weren't sent here. You weren't allowed to be born to be selfish. Even if you're in a very materialistic world, like you have to understand the real history of the planet, and y'all don't even want to hear that. But that's what's going to judge you, though. Everything came from the darkness. Everything's going to return to the darkness, and that darkness is judgment. That's why when you really read your scriptures, somebody's always coming to Jesus in the nighttime, or there's a storm in the nighttime. Something about evening. That's when Judas betrayed Jesus. He went out, it was night. John chapter 3. Satan took over Judas in John 13. And Judas went out and it was night. See, this is stuff you should know. Because this is the shit that's going to determine your eternity. Because what's sad about it is people sell out and they don't get nothing back for it. I could see if you really got something back. Like I could see if you soul got out and your love was so great and the person was just so wonderful and y'all just couldn't be alone and y'all ready to die together, just so like Bonnie and Clyde or some shit. But most of the time the person ain't doing jack for you but breaking your heart. But people would rather put up with that foolishness than put up with the truth. And then they gotta pay for it. So there's a time and place for everything. But like I said, when it comes to why you're here and who sent you, that comes first. And when you betray that, you got to pay for that. Just like any other disloyalty. I've had people that had charts connected to the Gobi Desert. Now imagine do you know how powerful the people that are in the Gobi Desert are? You talking about ancient technology and all that. You know how powerful those people are? But that person could care less about any of that. Another person was connected to a female priestess, which is very hard to find. Which they did exist and still do exist. But like a female priestess lineage, that's very hard to find. But they didn't care nothing about that. Just this simple dumbed down stuff. And they say these type of women, if they do marry, they may have great difficulty conceiving. So they said that the moon conjunct Lilith is the archetype of the witch and the crone. Now the crone is the old lady. Because the divine feminine comes in three different. She comes as a young girl or the teenager, the woman, or the old lady, which is the crone. So they said moon conjunct Lilith might be a woman who deals with other people's children, but she won't have her own, or she'll adopt or something, or she might be a midwife. Now, a man with Lilith retrograde in the 4th house, he might, do things for other people, like a humanitarian or something like that. But all these people have a very powerful sexuality brimming under the surface, but they conceal it. Now, these people may not think they're sexy at all, but other people see it, and they're turning other people on. Like when they are somewhere, it's other people looking at them, and the other people are really being turned on by them. But they may not think they're that sexy. But the other people, whatever you give it up to metaphysics or whatever it is, because these people have a sultry but somewhat coy mystique. So again, the moon concept or the Lilith concept can be somewhat surreal, somewhat loony sense of humor. And these people don't care what impression they make on the rest of the world. So they just really be into their imagination. Now they begin to see, because we've been talking about the mother's son, so I got to read this. This guy was an exiled Nazi. His name was Hermann Göring. He was separated from his mother for lengthy periods as a child. He ended up hospitalized as a severely disturbed morphine addict. He was often hysterical and violent when fearful. But surprisingly, although callous, he was also maliciously sentimental. Comic actor Steve Martin actually worked as a magician in his early days and is known for his illogical and absurdist comedy routines. All right, now they really get into it. More sorrowful manifestation of Moon conjunct Lilith are Kate McQueen, whose mysterious disappearance of her daughter Madeline still haunts the public to this day, as well as James Burglar, who was taken from his mother in a busy shopping center, then tortured and murdered by two 10-year-old boys. That's so sad. But you see it, like you saw the death card. You saw 13. That's the death card. And like I said, you don't, because when things like that happen, people, of course, are going to become emotional, and nothing you can say is going to change that. But what I try to teach people here on this planet is these things are going to happen. You have to really study your scriptures. The person that they give as your Messiah, look what happened to him: brutally beat, murdered, crucified, spit upon, made to march butt naked up the street. So unfortunately, where we are, those type of darknesses come, but through it you can actually find light. And I know that makes no sense to anybody, but what I try to tell people, to run away from it, then it's going to be far worse, because that's what they're doing. All this escapism, to run away from it, is the punishment for that is going to be far worse than your father beating the shit out of you, or your mama not hugging you, or your boyfriend cheating with your sister, all other crazy stuff that's on the planet. To not go down your journey of why you're here and try to do it your way, the punishment for that betrayal is going to be far worse than any other thing you've ever suffered, and that punishment is eternal. See, on this planet you got some bad, you got some good and stuff like that, but where you're going is going to be far worse. And running from a guy like me trying to tell you to repent or whatever you want to call it, it's not going to help you in the least. That's like a guy see you walking. You're getting ready to walk into an intersection, and this guy knows in a matter of seconds you're gonna be dead, and he's yelling at you at the top of your voice, but you're so freaking hard-headed that you're gonna keep walking anyway until it's all over. Julie Walters was a comedian and actress. She was expelled from school for her hijinks. She is now famed for playing the mother of the witchy weasel boys in Harry Potter. So all these people got little retrograde somewhere on the chart. I'm not saying they're all in the fourth house, but it's somewhere on it in the chart. Well, they all have Moon conjunct Lilith. Again, how do people find their purpose? Like I said, it's your true north node, which I did mention that when I was there. That's how you find your purpose. Other people do it through numerology. People do it through your name and your birth date. But on your natal chart, it's just your true north node. All right, so that was Lilith Moon. Give me one moment. All right, now this is from Australia. It's called Stars Like You. Star Like You. So we'll read this. Wait a minute, son. Moon sign. Moon sign Gemini. Your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies, your innate reactions, and the things you need to feel comfortable or secure. Your sun sign describes qualities you are learning to develop and become. Your moon sign describes those that you already have. All right, well, then your moon will be more connected to your past life. If that's true, your moon will be more connected to your past life because you already have those qualities, and your sun will be more connected to what you should be doing in this life. So this person may be curious, multitasking, communication oriented, a great mind. So Gemini is a mutable sign, mutable sign, which means they need variety and change. So remember, Gemini is all about the brotherhood as well. And there will be a need to communicate because of the Gemini energy. But I think there would be a difference between a moon sign. There would be a difference in communication between a moon sign Gemini and a sun sign Gemini. Because I think the moon sign is going to be a little bit more internal, possibly reserved. And Gemini is a brotherhood sign, so the person may be interested in the brotherhood, whether they're quiet or not, or private or whatever, but they may still have some interest. Gemini in the fourth house. So again, they keep saying communication, thoughts, ideas, and like I said, this could be a teacher because you got some type of publishing, whatever. But that fourth house does deal with education, primarily teenage and adult education, but also deals with real estate, property, family, ancestors, the mother, health. So this person can have a communication in any of those things. And they say this person likes to stay busy. They like to keep it going. And I could kind of see why, because that's how a lot of people don't deal with the internal. They just stay busy externally. So they say this person is like a messenger of the gods. It's kind of funny because that's where Lilith is and the moon. So what type of message do you think this person would be given? Well, we just read a lot about moon conjunct Lilith. So I'm kind of implying that that message may be along those areas. Because my ascendant is a Gemini, and you see what I do. I'm like the metaphysical, astrological messenger. So they're saying this that their home in the fourth house would be on a mundane level. It does emphasize the need for roots. All right. So Gemini in the fourth house could help this person be more feeling because of Cancer. But I don't know if I agree with that because that would depend. Remember they said how dominant. It really depends on the mother. If the mother was like that type of person, then maybe this person would be too. But if the mother wasn't that type of person, then it's very unlikely that this person will learn how to be feeling in the fourth house. And now they're saying karmically speaking, it could also point out that there should be more of a parental approach for the Gemini. But again, we're learning that maybe it wasn't. It's possibly that it wasn't. So basically, that conjunction was karmic, and that's why I say we don't know what we did in a past life. I kind of understand my past life a little bit based on my natal chart, but a lot of people say the family you find yourself in is the family you more or less selected to be in, and if that's not the case, the family you find yourself in is a direct result of what you did in a previous life. But ironically, you still got healing there. Well, Chiron is healing, but it's connected to the sun. 19 degrees. That's the sun card. And I kind of like I don't really understand it. I got a couple of possibilities, but this could be a situation where what helped heal this woman was that male child, or if something happened with that male child, by her reaching out and making amends, that'll help heal her. But they kind of hold the moon or the mother kind of responsible for that. And remember, Gemini is young, like young ones, like really young children. That is Gemini. And that's interesting because her Gemini goes right up to that Sagittarius. And right now, Jupiter retrograde is in Sagittarius. So that's interesting. All right. Your fifth house is supposed to be about fun, but it's still fun and children, romance, creativity. The third house and the fifth house are very uh, creative. And the fifth house is ruled by Leo. Fourth house is ruled by Cancer. Third house is ruled by Gemini. Second house is ruled by Taurus. First house is ruled by Aries. So now you got the fun family and the fifth house, and all that other stuff I said about the fourth house, teenage adult education, land and property, and on and on and on. But you have a Mercury retrograde, which means there are miscommunications, problems making yourself clear. But you had at 25 degrees there again, which, like I said, basically represents the law. So when I see things like that, I just tell people to be very careful with their family or how they are relating to their children. Because if it was just Mercury retrograde, I would just say, well, there's some type of communication problem going on. But now it's 25 degrees, which again is the law. Now we know Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, and we just did Gemini. We just determined that Gemini in the fourth house is like a younger one, and it is somewhat connected to that Sun, SON energy, but it's also SUN. And then here goes Mercury showing up at 25 degrees. Because like I said, the law might tell you, oh, it's okay. That's not life. It's okay. You can get rid of it. It's not life. The law might tell you that, but the human law is going to be destroyed by the universal law. This country is not always going to be here. That's the fact. Any other country is going. That's a fact. And then people are going to have to answer for their actions. So that's why I told people when I first started, always take notes. Because like I said, people get emotional. And when they hear something, they just cut off everything else. You know what I'm saying? Like a video, sometimes some videos can take 5 hours. You might hear one thing and just shut everything, because that's just human nature. Oh, fuck it, I don't want to hear the rest of it. And that's how people are. It's just a weakness. You could just turn it, like you could turn it off, but you can't turn it off. Because if you turn it off now, it's like speeding. Oh, fuck it, I don't care. I don't see, it's not that many cars out here. I'm just gonna go fast. I don't care. And you're not gonna care until the cop stops you. And then some people are so effed up in the head that even after the cop stops them, they want to talk shit to him like he's wrong. You're speeding. What do you think he's supposed to do? So what I'm telling people is, even if your law in your country tells you it's okay to do some shit, you're still going to answer to that universal law. And that's what people are not understanding. Where people should be repenting for things they've done, they really don't think nothing's wrong with it. And they don't realize that's the type of shit. That's why I said that's the one thing I would know. You know, If I was one of these people that said, I don't really care about all that, I'm going to do what I want, but you still better learn about hell. Because it doesn't matter. You don't have to believe it to be burning there for eternity. I don't understand it, bro. But I'm a survivor. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm still here. Because I'm smart enough to realize, first off, all I am is flesh. I'm dust. I'm nobody. What arrogance that you think you can do whatever you want to and you're not going to pay for it? Who taught you that? That's foolish. That's just foolish thinking. At least add some type of thought process to that. I mean, like back in the day, this is what they used to say. Okay, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna repent before it happened. And I didn't like it when they said that. But at least they showed some respect. Nowadays, they're like, F it. I don't believe that crap. Oh, we're just gonna go on and on and on, and we'll just die and live again with no accountability of our actions. But if you look at your whole natal chart is about accountability. That's why they give you, like, especially the 12th house. So now look at this. You're going into the 6th house, which is Virgo. Now you're dealing with the Sphinx, because the Sphinx is the Virgin and the Lion. So in your 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo, which is kind of crazy, but it's so sweet, because you're like your 6th house is Virgo, but you're fully a lion. You're fully a lion with your sun in Leo in the 5th house. That's so fucking cool. You really are. You got like the Virgo energy, and this is the home. So now your 6th house is ruled by Virgo. It's all about health, service, healing, the home, daily duties, daily activities, small children, small animals, co-workers, and or subordinates. And again, your sun is at 8 degrees. Once again, now that number 8, in your case, is probably definitely the strength card. But the way they do astrology, see, you got number 8 and number 11. Now, number 8 is usually the strength card. Number 11 is usually the justice card. That's Libra energy. But every now and then they do it differently. They reverse it for some reason. So you really have to know your chart before you understand. But in your particular chart, it's probably pretty much the strength card. Number 8, the strength card. And the strength card is, again, that divine feminine with that divine masculine. But your chart has a strong Mother Mary, baby Jesus. And if the baby is alive, if this son is alive, then it's a beautiful thing. But let's just say somehow the son suffered death. Then this chart is telling you that he's still very much there. Make amends, make peace. Because that's your strength. And that's why I tell people, you've allowed this pagan rulership to cause you to forget spirituality, where you think it doesn't matter. I'm not ready. But we're ready to jump in bed with no type of birth control. We're ready to do that, but then we're not ready for the responsibility that comes afterwards. Oh, just get rid of it. So it's not going to go down that way, because that has to be paid for. That's why when you see 25, 25, 25, that's law, but not Mr. Boy in Blue. You're talking about universal creator law. And remember, when was this son born? Allegedly on the 25th. That's what they celebrate. And this whole chart is reaping. But why is it reaping with it? Because we're more than what we were told. All of us have a measure of divinity. Because if you come from source, and source is the creator, then that means you are part of that source. It's not that difficult to understand. but you've been dumbed down, dumbed down, dumbed down. And stuff that's more like animalistic, like wanton sex, that's been upgraded, upgraded, upgraded. Every commercial. Hey, you want to be sexy? Get a beer. So just because you get a beer, now all these girls want to be with you. Or 1 minute you're sitting on the beach, it's all boring. Nobody's on the beach. It's just boring. All of a sudden you crack open one beer, and now the beach is partying, the dog is barking, and it's so great. Everything's sexy because you drank a beer. So you've been dumbed down, lied to, and most people believe it, not realizing the spiritual implications that we all going to have to face. So now we're looking at Leo in the 6th house. And this person would be very bold with their service. But again, you still don't sacrifice yourself in service. And they're also implying that by you doing service, that'll help heal you as well. Because that's like the 12th house too. That's part of your karmic debt. And plus, Jupiter will bless you for doing so. Alright, now what the hell is this? More bullshit. Alright. Give me a minute. Alright. Now it's a guy out here, a melanated gentleman. I never seen him before. But if you want to see him, I don't know, just go to a Yahoo search and type in Sun in the 6th house. And it's a black gentleman. He's got his hand on his face like a Freemason. I'm not saying he is a Freemason, but he's kind of holding his chin. 12 minutes, 52 seconds. Because I would try to open this up, but if I open up his thing, it's going to slow everything down. I'm not going to do that. I already got like tons of windows open already. Moon and Gemini, Moon, okay. And I'm going to get rid of some of these windows now. Is that it? Yeah. Is it? No. Now I'm going to try this again. Last time I tried this, they redirected me. It's doing it again. Yeah, so again, they say the sun is giving you vital energy for some form of service. This is horoscopespot.net, but I still want a little bit more because I just feel it's more of a reason. So we're gonna be here just a little bit. I just feel it's more than just service. See, the sun helps heal too. Like the sun will help heal. And yeah, they're probably telling you to get out in the sun. Like if you had like an angel card reading, you would probably hear them tell you get outdoors and get out in the sun, because that's a healing thing as well. And like I said, this sun I'm talking about that I see on your chart, SON, it's directly connected to the sun, SUN. This is all metaphysics. So again, to make a better relationship with that SON, you have to spend more time with the SUN. And remember, all this is how this works, how the soul works. See, the reason why they talk so much about twin flame, twin soul, because everybody wants to be in love and all that. But this stuff been going on forever. It's just the journey of the soul. It's just that humans just tend to be selfish. They tend to be one-sided, and they just want what they want when they want it, and they don't care how wrong it is. They're going to try to make it happen no matter what. They're like big babies. They don't want to grow up, and they're mad if somebody tells them the truth. Okay, so the sixth house and Virgo represents the last personal stage in development. So this is a crucial one. So the self-adjustment we undergo here determines our ability to relate to others on an equal footing. And that would be the seventh house, because the seventh house is going to be about 2. And by its success or failure, unites us with or separates us from others. This is the house, the sixth house is the house of work and health, or the lack of either. Hygiene, nutrition, service, servants, servitude, daily routine, employment by others, and small animals and pets. And it doesn't always have to be employment by others, because the sixth house also deals with subordinates. So if you had subordinates in the sixth house, that means you have people working for you. Whereas fifth house activities are done for their own sake, sixth house work is done for the necessity or in support of other, more self-expressive activities. When our work becomes an end in itself, however, we lose track of its purpose, it becomes pointless, and the result can be physical or psychological illness. The issue with planets in the sixth house is to remember that the purpose of our work is. To remember what the purpose of our work is. Where is its joy? Without this knowledge, life isn't worth living. So that's why they're saying Leo's there to have you have fun in service. But it also, like I said, has to do with children, and it has to do with that sun, S-O-N. So if you have the sun in the sixth house, that means you're service oriented and you enjoy serving others. So your sense of purpose in life will need that. And remember, yeah, because your true north node is also in a fire sign, which is Aries. And Vesta can deal with fire too. She's the earth, but she also deals with fire and energy. And they say in helping others you will shine. So they say humility and cooperation are the lessons for you to learn in your sixth house if you haven't already learned them. But I also gave you the other reasons as related to that sun, S-O-N. So they say take care of your body because physical well-being is important. The sixth house is the house of health, and the sun in this position often lacks the vitality of other houses. So take care of your body. And it's saying be careful of eating too much or drinking too much. All right, so Sun and Leo in the 6th house. If your sun, if it was afflicted, watch your heart, your back, or your spine. But that's only if it was afflicted. If it's not afflicted, you don't have to worry about it. But if it was, be careful of your heart, your back, or your spine. So Leo, again, is just going to make you like a leader, like a bold Leo leader in serving others. And they say you may, get a lot of attention because of it. So they say, but what happens sometimes, the Leo in the 6th house, because Leo is expecting to be commended, getting attention from people, but you may not. Like I said, plus it's just human nature. It's just the way it is. Like I said, like I try to tell a female, because there are some females that are still old school. They're like, I'm gonna take care of my man and blah blah blah. But sometimes that's the worst thing you can do. But I need y'all to listen. I don't mean go shitty on him, but taking care of him, he's gonna take you for granted. Like you taking care of him, it's a faster chance he's gonna cheat on you. I'm a man. I know how men think. I'm gonna say this one more time, probably more than one more time, but I always say this. When I was a teenager, I was with a female I was deeply in love with. So I thought I was looking out for her, and I told her how men really think. And she said, that's not how men think. That's how you think. And I was hurt because I felt like I was trying to help her, but she couldn't see it. So I was hurt. Now, she goes to school. She's in the gym with the guys, and they're all sitting on the bleachers, and she's sitting above them, and they're sitting lower on the bleachers, and they forget that she's there. So now she heard the guys talking, and she came back to me and apologized. Because she told me where she was sitting, and she said everything you said. That's what they said. So, ladies, I'm a freaking guy. I know how guys think. I know how guys move. All right? It's just the way it is. Sometimes to protect yourself, you got to come out of fantasy land. One minute you guys are saying all guys are dogs, right? Then another minute I'm telling you how guys really think, and you're telling me I'm the freaking dog. When I haven't had sex in freaking decades. By choice, because I'm a ladies magnet. No, I'm just joking around with you. But by choice. All right. So I'm going to tell you again. If you're a female, you should. If your guy's good to you, you should be good to your guy. But never take care of him so good that he's going to feel like you're easy. He's going to feel like, oh, even if I cheat on her, she ain't going to go nowhere because she loves me so much. Because that's just how it's human nature. And I'm sorry that we are that way, but I'm out here all the time telling people how it really is. And instead of them listening, taking notes, and learning, they want to run to another freaking channel. To listen to a jerk who's going to lie to you, take your money, and then when your whole life is fucked, you're going to be wishing you had listened to me. I've been doing this for years. If I had $1 bill for everybody that told me, oh, I wish I had to listen to you, I'd be freaking rich. I wouldn't be living down by the river in a trailer. No, I'm just joking. I don't live down by the river. All right. So hopefully that'll help somebody somewhere. All right, give me one moment because I got to upload this video. Again, even though service is a form of karma, your service is not as much karmic as it is that connection with the sun, S-O-N. Because that's pretty much what your chart seems to be about. And you should feel special. But I saw a whole lot of special stuff on your chart. But that's because that sun is special. That S-O-N is special. All life is special. Give me a moment. I'm just putting this up here. Excuse me. I gotta do some maneuvering. All right. All right. So that's the warning of Leo in the 6th house. Is that you may get taken for granted, which could also cause you problems because Leo wants to shine, and the people aren't telling you, "Hey, great job! Hey, that was nice. You showed initiative. Wow, you're pretty smart. Wow, you're a very caring person." And if you're not hearing that, you did a great job or whatever, that could cause a problem. And I don't have the advice. Well, I can tell you me. I am a Leo, but see, I don't give a freak. See, I've been here long enough, so I'm not your average Leo. I just do what I do because I'm supposed to do it. I could give a freak less what somebody thinks because that's what happens. You're expecting something and you don't get it, and now you're pissed the fuck off. But you're actually hurting yourself. You think you're hurting. Whenever you close up, the only person you're really hurting is you. You're not hurting anybody else because most people are gonna go on with their lives. So whatever I do, I just do it, and move on. But I've learned how to think. See, my true north node, my sun sign Leo, my moon sign Capricorn. Capricorn is more business minded, more stuff like that, more realist. So, I learned how to infuse both of them. See, I see Leo as the fighter, Capricorn's the manager. So that's how you do. And see, the best thing that ever happened to me was the Archangel cards. Because they really taught me everything. Like, just how to rethink and everything. Like, I had a legal question, so I pulled out my Gabriel Archangel cards. And then I had to sit down, I had to talk with Gabriel. Definitely gave me great legal advice that definitely worked. As far as this stuff I do out here or whatever, how I do this, that was the advisory of the Archangel Oracle card. So I got the 2 different card decks. So like I said, this stuff is very extremely real. About 2 nights ago, right before the moon went full, the moon was in Virgo, but it was still kind of full. So I went out there, did my intentions and everything, and I don't know how much I want to say about this, but I got some neighbors that are a-holes. They're just a-holes. It's wicked ass people. And sure enough, that moon, after I did my intentions, and I was just talking. Because I don't do curses. I don't do none of that stupid. I don't mess around with dark stuff because I figure it's gonna boomerang. But I gave my intentions, and after I gave them intentions, that moon went from being in like the southeast to right over those people's houses. And on top of their roof they got this metal thing, and the moon was right over top of it. You could see the shine. And then and so I don't know how much I want to tell you, but those people's houses, they kept fucking with me, and their house got haunted, like literally haunted. I got a relative. All you got to do is read Psalms 50, because I was reading Psalms 50 when God said to this person, I'm going to get you, and he gave him the reasons why. And I was reading that when that person got it supernaturally. So this stuff is very powerful. It's very real. And like I said, that's why I don't really worry about a whole lot. I know God's in control. And I know people you get what's coming to you. But you should already know that it's kind of foolish to go to astrology for answers when astrology is about karma. You understand? So you can't go to astrology because you want to know about your boyfriend or twin flames or some other stuff, but you act like it ain't no karma. Whatever we do is karmic. If you were a Christian, even the Messiah told you that. Everything you say, everything you do is being recorded, being written down, and you're going to be held accountable for it. These are universal truths. So if we really understand that, we begin to act differently. But we also get away from a lot of that animalistic behavior that a lot of people are into. So Leo in his sixth house has got to learn how to do your service like a leader, out of love, out of realistic loyalty. You never give unrealistic loyalty to anybody. I don't care who it is. Like I even tell people, if you're a female, you don't give a man access to your money account. So you could work it out a different way that your finances are protected, but you don't have to just give somebody your all, because people are not perfect and people are going to fail you. That's just the way it is. That's why I remember I had a friend that told me that a long time ago. She told me a lot of wise stuff. She is a friend of mine. And she said that. She said any relationship is a chance. Because I was basically telling her, I don't want to take no chances. Like, I'm sick of getting hurt, and I don't want to take no chances. And then she just said to me, any relationship you have is a chance. It may work, it probably won't work. You might only have a couple of good memories, and the rest might be bullshit that you wish you could forget. So it's a chance. And I wish I could give a better answer, but it's just the truth. Because here's the deal. A female who really wants to be in love, reads romance novels, and she's a great girl, and she wants a great guy. And she might find him, and he might actually be a great guy. But it might be shit in his family or shit in his life that fucks him up. And fucks her up too. That's life. So you have to be prepared for that. But by preparing for it, you don't give anybody so much freeness in your life that they fuck your life up. That's just called common sense. So that's why I said, if you love your man, don't love him so much that he thinks he can cheat on you and get away with it. In fact, you should always let your man know that if you do cheat on me, boom, this could happen to you. Because he's less inclined to do it. Like, at the end of the day, men are just like little boys. Like, they kind of want a mommy, even if they act like it. Like a man that says it's a con job. Like a man telling you, I'm the man of the house, you don't talk back to me. That's a con job. He's just pimping your ass out. Because the truth of the matter is, even legally speaking, you two are supposed to be equal. So it ain't no man of the house. That's just silly. And if you're a female, if you let a man get away with it, he's probably cheating on you, or he's going to cheat on you. Probably. Maybe some of them won't, but probably will. He's got to respect you as an equal, and if he ain't on that level yet, you got to help him get there. Y'all got to stop being scared. Like, the stuff y'all fight for what I just said, like you fight for your shoes, or all that other vain stuff y'all fight for. Fight for that in your relationships, and I bet your relationships will last a lot longer, instead of tapping out because he fucked up, or tapping out because he did something he shouldn't have did, or he hurt you or something. Now you're ready to tap out. Fight for it like you fight for your shoes, or all that vain stuff y'all into. So again, you got good publishing skills and stuff like that. So you can all use that in service, because you are going to be a bold leader. to have that sun blazing in the 6th house. But that's like the pyramid over in Egypt, because it's the Virgin and her son, and that's what you have in the 6th house. All right, now you go into Virgo. And finally, we see some love. You see the vertex cross, and I told you that's a twin flame number. So she's got Venus at 22 degrees. On her whole chart, this is the first very visible sign of love. Wow, but your Curious is at 29 degrees. Because 29 degrees is your karmic anaretic degree. And it's in, well, we could definitely look at 29 degrees Virgo. But this is in your 7th house of relationship. But it is real love, because you got Venus there and you got the vertex. So this is definitely your twin soul. Definitely your twin flame. Virgo energy. And it can also be Libra energy. Venus at 22 degrees. Now 5 degrees could be Leo, because that's your 5th house. But 5 degrees could also be Taurus, because that's the Hierophant card number 5. But the Hierophant card, the Pope, is all about marriage, spirituality, and or marriage. Now your vertex is about your soulmate. Now your twin soul, twin flame, same thing. Same soul, 2 different bodies. Your soulmate is anybody in your soul tribe, but it's usually somebody you have some type of a connection with. The number 26 is the voice of God. Whoever this person is, they will be helping you with the voice of God. Now, here's where it gets a little difficult for you. This is either your twin flame or twin soul, or it is your son. Because that's what it has said all the way up to this point. And it has compared that sun to this Virgo energy. Now, I keep telling you, it goes back to the Sphinx. See, what I'm trying to tell you, who's ever hearing this video, the Egyptians knew this stuff. And this is why they were calling their pharaohs God and all that stuff. Because they knew this stuff. Anything I'm saying is not new. And it's metaphysically proven because our ancients knew it. Like all our ancestors did all this stuff. This is before these people came and overthrew everybody and put us in this piece of shit matrix, which is based on his story, but his story is a goddamn lie. So hopefully people begin to wake up and go back to who you really are. Because that's the greatest love you're ever going to find. You're not going to find love disobeying ancestors, disobeying your natal chart, disobeying the universe, but you're going to force it on anyway. The good old way. The way they did it back when they took over the whole world. Just took it. Now the people are acting just like them. Aggressive with no regard for God. Other than some fake shit. They're saying God while they're raping and killing everybody. So you got 29 degrees in the 7th house, which is almost like saying 29 degrees in Libra, because Libra rules the 7th house. So we really want to look at this. And remember, the 29th degree is, again, karmic degree. right. So let's just do 29 degrees Virgo. The end of an employment cycle. Natives find themselves feeling they are not getting enough out of a job, whatever. Now, really, it's saying employment, but the theme is service. So 29 degrees Virgo is something about your service. Now, this is either, and plus you got the vertex there. So this is like, wow. Because the vertex is an important person, important meeting, an important breakup. One of them, whatever. Maybe more than one of those. So this is some type of important connection through service or the home, which if you're dating somebody or thinking about marrying somebody, you would end up in a home together at some point. And plus your vertex is there, which is an important meeting. So they're all telling you it's highly important. But I've been telling you how important this person is. That's why I say what happens with readings like this, she would know better than me because this is her life. All I can do is show her what's going down. And like I said, what happens a lot of times is people don't want to study it. They don't want to think about it. But I trust the universe. Like, whatever this information is, she'll have it when she needs it. But in this 7th house, if you notice, watch her whole chart. We started with basically the 1st house, which is really the 12th house. I explained that already. Just look at the chart. You're going all the way down, and ain't nothing really on that chart about love or nothing. Not really. You could stretch it if you wanted to, but really it's not there until you get to the 7th house of relationship, ruled by Libra. And all of a sudden there's Venus there, there's a vertex. All this is the romance, the connecting. So that's why I try to tell you. I'll give you another example because I'm not gonna spell the whole thing out. Sometimes you have to think, but your heart should tell you, and your intuition should tell you. But a long time ago in the East, there was a queen that had a son that was a prince, and they were Asian. Now, the prince was a young kid, but he died. Now, shortly thereafter, she got some type of message from a male claiming to be her son. And they said that is impossible, because of age, because of everything. There's no way this male could be my son. So one thing led to another. She didn't necessarily meet with him, but he did meet with representatives of her. And he was able to answer questions and all that. And he knew stuff that only the son could know and all that. And they brought that information back to her. And she said, my son died. And we're going to leave it that way. So she wouldn't deal with it anymore after that. Now, remember, she's a queen. And she had to be very careful. Because many kingdoms have been overthrown because of trickery. So she just wasn't going to deal with it. And she felt like she didn't understand it, never heard of nothing like that before. And to her, for the sake of her kingdom, she had to do what she thought was the right thing. My son is dead. We're not going to bring him back to life. Also, with your number 5, which is Pallas, which is the soulmate asteroid. People tell you that Pallas is not a soulmate asteroid. Well, let me ask you people this. Who's saying that? Why is Pallas in the 7th house, which is about relationships, conjunct with Venus? And the vertex, which is all about twin soul, soulmate relationships. So Pallas is definitely a soulmate asteroid. Pallas usually represents the more stable one. Now, you see Curious at 29 degrees, which is nurturing, and you see Chiron at 19 degrees, which is healing. This is all whoever this person is, whether it's her son, S-O-N, or is some connection to her twin flame? She's going to have to answer that with her intuition and her heart. Now, your 8th house is the soul house. Now, Neptunian and is ruled by Mercury, is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. And ironically, for some reason, they made your 9th house your 8th house. You have a very unique natal chart. And we're not going to talk about it till we get there. Because you also got some type of connection to Sagittarius. And right now, Jupiter retrograde is in Sagittarius. And I have tons of videos out here. You're free to listen to them. But I talked all about that. I got 2 different channels. But I did a lot of videos on the full moon that we're under right now. We're coming out of a full moon. And I talk a lot about that Jupiter and Sagittarius. And of course, I'm not going to remember which one and all that. You would just have to listen to the videos, find out yourself. Or wherever you can find it. You might even find it on YouTube. Somebody else might be talking about Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius, because that's a major point on your chart, which I'm going to talk about as it is on this chart. But I also explain it as a whole, how it's affecting everything in the universe and everything. So all right, so they're showing you now your 7th house with all right, yeah, let's do this again. So now let's do 29 degrees, because it would be 7th house, but since we don't have that, but we do have Libra, because Libra rules the 7th house. So we're going to do 29 degrees Libra. It's funny, I just got finished talking about a Freemason, and now I'm looking at a Freemason. Same thing, hand on his chest with the thumb. Former White House counsel may have saved Trump from himself. And this guy's got the Freemason. And the reason why they got them signs, because a lot of stuff you see. And he's doing it again. He keeps doing the chin with the thumb on the chin and all that, and the cheek and all that bull. And now he's doing the Jack Benny. You know how Jack Benny used to go, sigh into his hand? That's Freemasonry. That's what this guy is doing too. See, they're telling you all this shit you're seeing is bullshit, because you're in a freaking matrix. And they sit there and make fun of people because people don't get it. They sit there and lie to you all the freaking time, and you just sit there and accept it as truth. His story. All right. So let's go on. Let's go on. So now 29 degrees Libra. This signifies the end of a cycle where a pressing legal issue is involved. It requires people to tie up loose ends. Unfortunately, it strongly signifies divorce. Now, in this particular case, that's not the case. In this particular case, her 7th house is very powerful. One of her more powerful positive houses is her 7th house. Everything in there is talking about love, unified love, beautiful, nurturing. So that's what that 29 is symbolizing. That 29 degrees is symbolizing actually good times. Not bad. So now, Libra represents the 7th house, but it represents partnership. It represents the law. And the law may be involved with this, because we already said it might be a legal issue. Might be. Business contracts, open enemies. But all that is going into your 8th house. And if you notice, nothing's in your 8th house. Why? Because your 9th house has become your 8th house because of Scorpio and Pluto. Now, sometimes on charts, you can see the soulmate and the twin flame, a twin soul. Usually it could be two different people, but with one of those people, all hell breaks loose in your life. Now that vertex can be your soulmate, but it could be your twin as well. But what I'm trying to tell you is, whatever it is, you're in competition between these energies. And one seems to be a healing, nurturing, supportive energy, but the other one is coming to problematic. And again, you have your free report. So on your free report, make sure you know what's in that 8th house, because it's a lot of stuff, and it will be affecting your relationship and any type of agreements or business agreements, because your Libra is in the 8th house, and then your 9th house has become your 8th house because Scorpio and Pluto were there. So when I do your 9th house, which I'm about to do, I'll talk a little bit about the 8th, but you still need to read it because it's a lot of stuff in your 8th house. When you're dealing with the paranormal, the unknown, all that's in your 8th house. Business, banking, debt, IRS, all in your 8th house. So you got to really know that. Past life, death and rebirth, ghosts and ghoulies, alternative science. It doesn't stop. Now, we're going into your 9th house. Your 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius. And this is going to be your teacher. Your 9th house also implies maybe a second marriage or a relationship that finally is stabilizing. Like I said, first time around with the person I work with, kind of like a soulmate to me. She is very, very immature. Never a weak person, but I guess she is kind of intimidated by me or something. But she was just very, very immature. And I see it a lot, so it is what it is. No, like if you want to talk to somebody, talk to them. Like all that playing hard to get and all that silly shit. Like when you do that and then you don't get got, don't be mad. Like a lot of females be at weddings crying or talking trash about the groom or talking shit about the bride. But you had the same chance she did. But the difference is she got through it and you acted like a little child. That's why you're sitting there still single and now she's married and now you're talking shit. Grow the fuck up. Really. Really. Like seriously. Grow the fuck up. Stop being such a freaking drama queen. Wonder why the marriage is fucked up, family fucked up, can't find somebody, or somebody running so far away from you, don't want to have nothing to do with you. Just grow up. Nobody's asking you to be perfect. Let me just explain something to y'all, okay? It's like I Love Lucy. Now, Lucy was a nut job. Lucy was an emotional nut job. But Ricky loved her. But they had to come to an understanding that that character of Lucy was a nut job. Because we can't function when you're doing crazy shit. We can't act like this shit is normal. We have, oh, Lucy, we have to address it. You got issues. Lucy, you little crazy. That's a loco. That's a loco, Lucy. That's a loco. Oh, Ricky. So we got to address it. Something's wrong here. Don't act like nothing's wrong, because that's why people get pissed off. You know, even Lucy was smart enough to go, You know, she could have said, don't. She could have been like these women nowadays, talking crazy. Okay? You're fucking up. The man's trying to tell you, we got to deal with this, and you just keep talking crazy. So, of course, he's going to finally run from you. Won't pick up the phone no more. He might get a restraining order. He's got no choice, because you don't know how to tap out and go, I fucked up. Ricky, So that's why I said she came in yesterday. Well, we looked at each other, but she knows how I'm at. I'm at the cash register, but she saw me looking at her. You know, because I'm glad to see her. Because me and her are cool. Like, that's a soulmate. Me and her are cool as fuck. But we've never talked. But we're cool. Now, me and my twin flame never got along. Now, we could barely have 2 words to each other. But me and her, we're cool. So she knew. So she walked past and then she knew. And because one time she did that shit. She came out. This was the later days, right before she left that job. And she knows how I am. So she came out one day. She came out of her apartment. And, you know, she was walking around saying hello to people. I was like, man, she could have came over here and said hi to me. I was pissed off and shit. So then she did it. Because she knows how I am. So then she came over there and she said, like she just walked by and said hi. Then she said hi. But this time she made sure she said hi and shit. So she grew up. So what I'm trying to tell you is that's the Sagittarius energy. Gemini energy is bickering, never getting along in a relationship, especially a twin flame relationship. The 3rd house of the Gemini energy is usually not getting along. You're breaking up, separation, taking each other through hell. But when you get to the Sagittarius, it could be a little bit more mature. But in your case, you got all those retros. See, that's how you know you're dealing with twin flame shit. Because you start seeing a whole bunch of retros and a whole lot of problems. That's why I just told y'all. The soulmate, y'all but the vertex can be your twin too. But a lot of times that vertex cross could be your soulmate. It just depends. Now, what happens with people is they don't want to think. And none of this stuff is that hard. When you see this stuff on your natal chart and you have an expert telling you it, that's how it really is. But what happens sometimes, our feelings get the best of us, or we ain't listening, or whatever. And it's only so much I can do. You know, once I thoroughly explain this, tell you to take notes and all that, it's only so much I can do. But what that means is you might just need somebody else to wake you up. You might need some other situation to happen in your life to wake you up. But what I'm trying to tell you is what we're basically seeing right now from your 1st house all the way over to your 7th house, you were dealing primarily with soulmate energy. That's why it's pretty much positive. Now, when you get up here with all these retrogrades, that's probably your twin. Because twin flames take each other through hell. And both these people exist, and they're probably in your lifetime, and I told you who they probably were, and I gave you clues. Now, if you're taking notes and then you're honest with yourself, you would pretty much be able to fill in the dots. Because I can't do everything. Plus, some of the stuff I say, people don't even believe it. Because they're too busy under a matrix, and they don't want to wake up. All right. So now, when you see the number 4, that is the Aries card. But see, what that is aggression, and 4 could also be an earthy card. Like a person is more interested in earthly stuff. And that, you know, that's what Scorpio and Pluto can be about. Because they're all about domination. You know, they just want it to be about them. Power, power struggles, stalking, codependency, addictive behaviors, highly sexual, highly mysterious, highly secretive. Because like I said, a secretive person, real talk, you can say whatever you want. And believe me, there are some men that probably would put up with it for whatever reason. But bottom line is, when you're in a relationship and you're acting like, oh, this dude ain't got a right to know this or know that, it depends on what that shit is. Because how you going to be, because like this is a female. Now this is a female. Her phone will ring, right? And she be talking, going in the other room, closing the door. All that bullshit, whispering in the phone and all that. This is a female doing all this bullshit, right? But let your phone ring. Who that? Who you talking to? Okay, how come you talk to everybody in the fucking line? You go in all these different rooms, you whisper in the phone, you closing the door, but I can't ask you who that is. But then when my phone ring, you all up in my face about who is that? Who that? So y'all be on some bullshit. Alright, so this is that whole Scorpio, Pluto shit I'm talking about. This is the drama. Here come the drama. So as far as that Libra in the 8th house, depending on which one, if you're talking about the soulmate, it might be kind of cool. Because up until now, it was cool. Right? But all that crazy shit started as soon as you get Mercury, as soon as you get Scorpio and Pluto going into that 9th, well, you in the 9th house, but now you're going into Sagittarius in the 10th house. It's getting a little crazy. All these retrogrades and all this crazy. So here come the drama. Here come the stalking. Here come the codependency. But we got to remember, Scorpio is the most powerful zodiac sign there is in the 12. Scorpio is psychic. Scorpio will know shit that it shouldn't know, but it does know. Scorpio can also be very suspicious. You got to be careful, but this is all part of the power trips and the mind fucks and everything that people put themselves through. So Sagittarius rules the 9th house. That's your higher self, long distance travel, in-laws, foreigners, higher courts, higher laws. So you have to be careful, because when you mess up in the 9th house or anywhere where you see Sagittarius, you might be dealing with higher laws, whether they be legal laws, like you got the states, you got the state court, state government, but you got the feds. And the feds are going to lock you up much longer, and you're going to do 85 or 90% of your time. So you have to be very careful when you're dealing with higher laws. I just got finished doing a chart for somebody, and they're trying to do business in Africa because that's where they're from. And that's what I warned them to make sure, and they said they were taking care of it, because you're dealing with higher laws. So you may find yourself in some serious trouble, or you might be paying a higher fine if you don't know the laws, you try something. You have some people that will try to track you down. Let's just say you live in New Jersey, but you found a place to go shopping out of state and whatever. So now you try to bring that stuff back, but now New Jersey finds out, and they saying you owe them taxes or whatever and all that. They may, had their panties up in a rush or whatever, because they pissed off. Oh, you went here and you owe us, and how I owe you anything? I didn't buy nothing from you. Oh, you owe us because of. And it could get ugly depending on what it is or how serious they are about coming after you. So it's transformation with the Sagittarius energy. So I'm pretty sure your twin has a strong Sagittarius in his natal chart. In their natal chart. But it's a lot of aggression. Now remember, your okay, so your second house is your money house, but it's also your why you're here, your life purpose. True North Node. Now, your 8th house is your South Node. That's your past life. So in your past life, you had some type of Libra or partnership relationship in an 8th house setting. And I already said that's very power struggles, on and on. So, possibly in your past life, you were about we, but it didn't work out too good. So in this life, they're telling you to be an I, but you still have to be careful, because I ain't good either. Because that's just straight up selfish. So they're making you do two, like you're on two different time frames. One is self-realization with Aries, I, but also service, which is they, helping them. But that's probably because you live many lifetimes. Now, when I told you your True North Node was 24, and I told you about the return, and I believe I said as we get further into your chart, we'll find out why that is that way. We just did. Because when you go to your South Node, there it is, we. But it's we in the 8th house, which means it probably was some type of power struggles and all kind of tripping, all kind of crazy stuff. But now you have to return. But I'm still trying to tell you, they sent you power and the sun, S-O-N. When I say they, whoever really put your natal chart together. These wonderful mathematicians and whatever they are, whoever they are. But they got the power to put it in writing, and because they put it in writing, it becomes a reality. So now in your 9th house, and I explained all that because Pluto and Scorpio there is definitely power struggles. Might even be power struggles with in-laws or foreigners or something going on. But I also believe his energy is primarily Sagittarius. And that's why you got all that drama in your 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. Now, when you have Sagittarius in your 10th house, this is your career house. This is your career house. And Sagittarius could be something foreign, but it could also be that teacher. But now, look at what you have. You have 26 degrees again. So whoever this person is, again, something from God. Something spiritual, something from God. 26 degrees. But then number 12 is Neptune energy. So now you got some type of Neptune Capricorn connection, because Capricorn rules your 10th house. And Juno is there. Juno represents somebody you would be in a serious relationship with. But it really so for the most part, it's looking like you're gonna have some type of career issues. Because you keep seeing 12, which is Neptune, but your Neptune is retrograde. And see, them number 12s is going to take you back to where your 12th house, which could be Aquarius, but because of the way your chart is made, like I would take them 12s the way your Pisces. Well, either way, it's going to go there because Neptune rules Pisces. So those 12s are going to take you to Pisces anyway, even though they made that your first house. So you just got all these time periods overlapping. But me personally, my main concern would be, who is that apparent soulmate that looks like that's going to be your inspiration and going to send a lot of love your way? Who is that soulmate? But also, you got to know who is that twin flame that seems to be backing all those retrograde planets. You got like 4 retrograde planets in 2 different houses as soon as this came up. And there's some weird Capricorn Sagittarius stuff going on with this person. And if you're going to deal with Capricorn, you're going to deal with Saturn as well. But Saturn is karmic. So we got to look at that first. And I'm going to put this on pause. Okay, now this is where you get karma heavy. So I believe this is your twin flame, which you have a karmic connection with. Now, and a lot of people don't know, your 10th house, even your job, is karmic. So here, your 10th house ruled by Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and you actually have Saturn in your 10th house. And then they jump over to your 11th house and put Capricorn there too. So you could already tell that whole area is highly karmic. You can't get past it. And then Neptune, because you're and I'm not even gonna lie to you, because I wanted to say it back then, but I waited. But I pretty much could tell your Neptune was gonna be retrograde. But I didn't want to say it, you know what I'm saying? Because if I said it and then got there, it wasn't retrograde, I would have been like, man, this is one chart that's really like out there. But the bottom line is your Neptune is retrograde. So your 12s, wherever you see 12 on your chart, it's telling you that because of all the intensity of this relationship or everything involved with it, it's causing a lot of escapism on you and your partner. Now your partner, your twin, his Neptune might not be retrograde, but it don't need to be, because you can already see it on yours. Because really, your twin flame charts, it's the same thing. It might tell a different story, but it's the same thing. Best way to describe it. Let's just say there's a big company called Gizzles. Okay, Gizzles. Big ass Gizzles. One of the biggest stores in America and maybe the world is Gizzle. I'm just making this name up. So if it's a company called Gizzle, I'm just making the name up. All right. But now, way out in the deep, dirty South, the deep South is a company called Gizzles. And you figure, oh man, they way out here in the backwoods. Don't nobody care about them. But what you don't realize is all they gotta do is make a phone call and call the headquarters. And you're going to have some serious problems, because Gizzle's one of the biggest corporations in the world, and they got nothing but crazy lawyers waiting to eat your ass up. So you think because it's in the backwoods, little Gizzle, and the guy that like the manager, he talk like this. Be out there in the backwoods with the little fish, you laugh. So you think he's stupid, and you think you ain't got nothing to worry. Oh, fuck you, fuck Gizzles. Y'all ain't going to do nothing to me. But y'all don't understand. He get on the phone, and he call them, and now you got problems out the cahoozles. Haha. You disrespected Gizzles, and now you got problems out the cahoozles. So the bottom line is, it do matter. It's the same thing. That's why I tell people, when you cut past all the BS and deal with the reality, all this that I'm talking about, you get it. But when you talk about where my love at, why, and you want to cut past everything just to be selfish, you don't get it. What you're going to get is judgment. That's the only thing you're going to get. And that little bit of sex you got from that situation, if you even got a little bit of sex from it, it's not going to be worth the hell that you're going to be enduring. And if it is hell, that's eternal. You ain't coming out of that. That's why you don't take no shortcuts. You find out what's going on, and you deal with it best you can. Like Lucy was smart enough to go, like, this is too great. This is too great. This is too hard for me, God. And then God, you'll see God's mercy. But when you think you know more than God talking crazy, you talking crazy to somebody like me, I got angels all around me. I got people that went to early death fucking with me. And I'm talking about angelic, supernatural, all kind of crazy stuff happen. I got neighbors that can't turn the lights out in their own house now because they want to pick a fight with me. I never did none of those people. So this stuff is real. So now, so this is your Juno. Now your Juno at 0 degrees. Now what does that mean? Juno at 0 degrees. Well, 0 degrees would be the Fool card. And the Fool card is Uranus. And there go your Uranus right there. Now your Uranus is at 18 degrees. And that 18 degrees is the Moon card. But what y'all got to know about the Moon, the person who corresponds with the Moon is the High Priestess. So whenever you're dealing with Uranus retrograde or Scorpio, or you're dealing with stuff that come out of nowhere. Bipolar. Now your number 3 is the Empress card. And that could be Venus energy too. But the number 3 can also be the 3rd house that I told you about, breaking up and all that. Because it's Gemini energy. So you say, well, why would they put all that Gemini energy in Sagittarius? I thought you said Sagittarius was more mature. Now, what that could mean, not saying that it does, But first off, you got to look at where your Sagittarius and your number 3 is. Opposite your 4th house with the mother and Lilith retrograde. And when they describe that, didn't they say something like you got the mother and the anti-mother, or the mother and the whore? So that's that bipolar shit again. So I'm going to try to explain something. That's the most important thing I said. I think I said a lot of important things on this video, but that's just me. But I think I'm getting ready to say something right now. Most important thing I'm going to say on this video. And some of y'all going to know I'm not lying, depending on how many people hear this video. Let me give you David and Bathsheba. David couldn't get to sleep, woke up, decided to go up on his roof, look around, look at the stars or whatever he was doing up there. And somehow he saw Bathsheba, butt-ass naked, allegedly taking a shower, a bath or something. Now, you got to understand what I'm going to tell you. I'm sure women are the same way, but sometimes you go to sleep and you can wake up hornier than a mother. You know what I'm saying? A man will wake up with a big-ass heart on. That's how the body works. So you already can't get to sleep. You're already hot and bothered. You doing try to go cool off or whatever. You go up, basically minding your own business, and you see some woman soaking wet with probably the baddest body in all of your city or whatever it was, your country, whatever it was. And whether they made eye contact, I'm sure they did, however that was done. But I'm trying to tell y'all, from a guy that's been on this planet long enough, when something is supposed to supernaturally happen, you are going to be able to see shit you would normally not see. You are going to be able to see eyes and shit you normally wouldn't see. Because this is some supernatural shit. Now, like I said, if you think this stuff don't go on, I keep telling you, all you got to do is go to 990's channel, and her last video should be something about TIs. And she's going to tell you a whole bunch of crazy ass shit, so you think it sounds like she made it up. But you got to understand, you're dealing with a person. My whole life since I've been on this planet has been dealing with the spiritual realm, whether it be Christianity, metaphysics, whatever. And I'm telling you, this shit is real. So David went from thinking he just going to go up and look at the stars and hopefully eventually get back to sleep to I got to have that woman. I don't give a fuck. I'm the king. I'm going to abuse my power. I know what I'm going to. I don't care. I have to have her and I don't matter, and I'm not giving her up, even if that means putting her husband to death. She's mine. Same man that wrote all these wonderful psalms about love and obeying God and putting God first and taking out the wicked and letting the wicked burn in hell forever. He wrote all these wonderful psalms, and now he's become the person that he wrote all these psalms about against. So somebody somewhere had some power to get that done. Now, when you have ever been in a twin flame situation like me, I've seen that all the time. Where the person pop up and there's no logical reason how that popped up. How can somebody supposed to work from 6 to 9 o'clock? They get there late. They get there at 6:15, 6:20, and yet they take a break. And they take a break at the same time you're taking your break. And you've been there since like 4 or 5, and you take your break at 8. Now this person is supposed to be there at 6. They get there at 6:15, 6:20, and take a 15 or 20 minute break. And somehow that person is still right there next to you. I'm talking about my twin. We used to work together. How is that possible? And why didn't somebody say, hey, you can't, you got here late. You could only take your break if you get here on time. How are you taking your break when you got here late? and how it's only supposed to be like a 15-minute break, and you're taking 20 minutes or more. Or somebody that looks just like your twin live on the same block as you. Or somebody got the same name or the same jacket. Or when they ain't talking on the phone, they walk the exact same way that she do. All kind of crazy shit. So this is the stuff that's a reality on this planet. You can't deny it. This is why people go crazy. This is why people are obsessed with this whole twin flame thing. That they're willing to spin everything. They just keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Now, when you're dealing with Scorpio, Pluto, and all this, that is obsession. And remember, this is in the 9th house. So it's going to affect that Sagittarius. Because Sagittarius rules the 9th house. This is all about bipolar obsession. And Saturn is definitely where you see Saturn in your chart, that's your karma. And that's where delays might occur and things like that. And 3 usually is Gemini energy, but it's also representing immature energy. And I'm trying to tell you that a person's mother is going to be connected to this whole twin flame thing. Like in a lot of ways, your twin may look like a family relative, or she may act like them. Like it's just funny how it is. Just like you might say, man, I don't get along with my family. My family is crazy. I'm trying to get as far away from them as I possibly can. But then your twin acts just like they do. And it'd be weird connections between your twin and your mother and stuff like that. So this natal chart is projecting exactly what I'm telling y'all. Just like if you look inside this natal chart, it's weird. It looked like some type of like Metatron, and that's Virgo. And she got a high Virgo on her chart. She got like a real. That's where her Venus is with Virgo and that chart, like that stuff inside of her natal looked like something Metatron would make. So if you think that your life is not being determined by these people that are higher than us, you're out your freaking mind. And it shocks me how people just talk about silly shit when you got way bigger stuff to worry about. Like if I was connected to the Gobi Desert, I would want to know more about that. Who the fuck gives a fuck? Can't no human do nothing for me that them people in the Gobi Desert can do. These are people that are so advanced in technology and stuff like that. Why the hell would I be worrying about some female when I could be connected to the Gobi Desert and stuff? So this stuff make me laugh. So what they're letting you know that somehow you got this whole Lilith conjunct moon, but that moon represents my Dukes, and she's also connected to all this stuff going on one way or another. And you can't separate it. And remember, Saturn could represent the father. So now, this is where it gets a little strange. Saturn usually means restraint and discipline. But Saturn retrograde can mean the total opposite. Uranus retrograde usually represents I don't care nothing about no restraints. I'm going to do what I want to. But Uranus retrograde represents like restraint. Because Uranus opposes Saturn. They don't get along. But this chart is done in a strangely opposite way. And that 18 degrees is telling you that the moon is behind it, but that is also representing the high priestess. And remember, we already were talking about the priestess and all that when we was on your chart. So you best believe your tarot card number 2, even though you don't see any number 2s on your chart, you definitely see that 18 or that moon. So that's the high priestess also making herself known. And ironically, she would make herself known in somewhere around Sagittarius, because that represents your higher self. And your higher self will always be you and your twin back together as one. So you got the Empress here, number 3 card, but you also got the High Priestess coming through the moon. Not coming through the number 2 so much, but she is coming through that moon. So what they're telling you is all this drama is going to lead to a number 12. But number 12 is the hangman, which means you're in some type of suspension, which could be court or law. And this is one of the reasons why your ninth house, which can mean courts, higher courts, and stuff like that, Sagittarius energy, is playing a role in both these houses, 10th house and 9th house, because Sagittarius rules the 9th house. Now, again, they're warning you against bipolar behavior. So let's look at that. Let's look at Saturn retrograde, Uranus retrograde. All right, give me a second. All right, so my point is exactly, somebody just contacted me, but instead of saying natal chart, they said Natalie. So right away, I asked them. I said, "Do you know anybody named Natalie?" And they were right away. They said, "Oh yeah, well it's just my autocorrect should have caught that, but it didn't catch it." And yeah. I'm writing you about this and blah 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 blah. And I do know somebody named Natalie and blah blah blah, blah, but that has nothing to do with this and blah 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, it has everything to do with this. It's funny. The Natalie, like we're doing, I told you, everything comes in batches. Right now we've been talking about sun, right? Now the word Natalie in her life connects to her son. See, I know what the fuck I'm doing. So that's why I told her, I said, hold up. I said, first off, Natalie has everything to do with this. Because nothing is accidental, nothing is coincidental. Everything happens for a reason. So I let her know that. And I told her, keep an eye on that. So it is what it is. Like I said, but people are always going to think, like you have to understand, there's people that pay a lot of money to go to these so-called shamans throughout Europe, throughout the world. A shaman is connected, all right? So he might tell you some old crazy shit. Like I watch these videos. The shaman is spitting all over these people. He's drinking soda and spitting all over them, telling them to do all kind of crazy shit. But they do get healing. I keep telling you, this is at the end of the day, this is all going to be about humility. And I'm going to tell you again, all these people that are using astrology for bubblegum astrology, if you don't repent, you got it coming. And I'm going to tell you again, based on prophecy, time is running out for all this silly stuff that was allowed by the people that set us up and put us in this matrix. Their time is up. So you can either do it the correct way and get the blessings of the universe and become one again with Source, or you can do it the other way, and then Source is going to discipline you because Source is Mama. So Mama's going to discipline you one way or another. And you better hope it's not as extreme as eternity that you can't come out of. All right. We're getting ready to go back into, we're going to read those retrogrades, what they mean, and go back into those houses, which is primarily the 10th house and the 11th house, because we pretty much covered the 9th house, but we're going to definitely deal with the 10th house and 11th house. But right now I'm going to hit pause, and I'll be back. All right. So again, now we're dealing with the 10th house. We already concluded that under the Sagittarius energy in the 9th house, there's going to be all kind of watery, Scorpio, power struggles, everything we name. Anything in that area. Anything in that area. Watery, powdery, power struggles, mysteries, secrets. But now we're going into here. And again, that Juno at 0 degrees is that Uranus energy. And again, you got Aquarius there. Aquarius being an air sign. Ironically, Gemini is also an air sign. But this is in the 10th house. This is the career though. Sagittarius in the 10th house, again, could be the teacher, could be something long distance, Like I said, this could even do with higher courts, higher laws, anything with arts, class, philosophy, religion, possibly even language. I believe I said in-laws, but that could be anything having to do with this 10th career. But here, through that Sagittarius energy, possibly Capricorn energy, it's going to be like a something God. But the funny thing is, your 26 degrees, they're both at that right angle. They're in your 10th house and your 6th house, but that's a right angle. Now, I believe that is called a square. That is called a square for an astrological definition, and that is like a challenge. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It might be, though. But it's dealing with a challenge to you. Square is at 90 degrees. So this person or the situation will offer some type of challenge. So they say when you square off, it may not go very well. But again, anybody that watches any type of sports, you see two people that they're both very competitive, and they both want that shine. They both think that they're better than the other person, but it can also be motivational. It could be contention. It could be tension. So these are the tests we must undergo in order to fulfill your higher purpose. But going through the tests may not be fun. So they say the same thing I do. Make sure you're using your horoscope. Make sure you're doing your daily horoscopes, because the more you have a better idea, the better off you are. Now I know, but it was coming. It was coming because this guy's name is Rich Loop, and he was talking about it right after it happened. Because I was basically told, and I kind of paid for it, but it was one of those things. Because you don't understand, April, so much had to be done this month. And I'm the only guy doing everything you see is me. There's not really nobody helping me and nothing like that. I got to do everything. And then you got, like we just said about squares and all that, you'll have people in your life that are just there primarily. They may do some good things, but they're also there for a whole lot of bullshit as well. So I had to get things done. I'm exhausted, and I'm doing all this with health problems and all kind of crazy shit. My doctor prescribed some medication, messed me up worse than I already was. So I'm trying to heal from that. So I got a lot on my plate. So I don't have a whole lot of time for the silly stuff that comes on this planet, especially just silly stuff that's done for no logical reason other than to F with you. But I kind of been here long enough to understand that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Psalms 23, David is thrown into the valley of the shadow of death. Psalm 69, David is thrown into the deep. Jonah chapter 1 and 2, Jonah is thrown into the deep. Matthew chapter 4, Jesus Christ is thrown into the wilderness by the Holy Spirit. Job 1 and 2, God tells Satan to go down there and just destroy Job's life. Like I said, Matthew chapter 4, right after Jesus is baptized, the Holy Spirit takes him to be tempted of the devil. So it goes with the territory. And I know people don't like it, but unfortunately you can't make God to what you want him to be. God is going to be God. Nor can you take the Bible and change it to, just don't talk about all that stuff about hell. Just talk about love and all that. Forget. You just can't do that. You think you can, but that's why God is destroying. He's been destroying nations for a long time. They did the same thing, and now people are doing it now, and they think they're going to get away with it, but I'm telling you they're not. And I'm telling you, based on prophecy, their time is just about up. So you just can't do it any way you want to. You got to go through it. Just like if you join the gang, they beat the crap out of you. A lot of gangs will really beat the crap out of you, but then you become a member of the gang, and that's called your initiation. And we used to have that when you went over to the high school. When we went over to the high school, it was just sophomores, juniors, and seniors. No freshmen. That's way too young to be sending somebody to a high school with grown. Like seniors, are like grown adults. Soon as they changed that, I knew that was of the devil, and I said you're gonna see a lot of them young girls gonna be pregnant real quick because they shouldn't be over. Ninth graders don't belong. I know they're in high school, but they don't belong there. See, when I went to high school, the ninth graders stayed in the middle school or whatever, junior high school or whatever. But they darn sure was in no high school. I knew that was from the devil, and I knew you was gonna see a lot of pregnant girls because you're gonna have a bunch of dudes that are driving cars. They're almost men. And you got these girls with that was some crazy stuff. But that's another situation where, parents should have stood up and they didn't. It's what it is. But anyway, no, I don't have any kids for anybody talking on that crazy talk. So anyway, you got beat up when you went over to the high school. So you got the crap beat out of you. Anywhere from 2 to 20 guys could be beating the crap out of you, depending on who you were, where they caught you at, and on and on and on. So the point I'm being made is that's part of this world. All of this crazy stuff is part of this world, and for some reason we have to learn how to deal with it the best way we can. Oh, now speaking about school, so like I said, that woman said Natalie when she asked about natal chart, and I asked her, do you know anybody named Natalie? Because that wasn't no mistake. I've been doing natal charts for a long time, never saw nobody spell a natal chart Natalie. So I knew there's something on her mind. And she said, yeah, my so and so, whatever. She told me about it. So she tried to make it seem like it was just a typo. I said ain't no typo. I said there's no accident or coincidence. There's a reason for it. So come to find out, there's a person that's very gifted, but he's being treated like a disciplinarian, and that's a no-no. When you have gifted children, you let your children express their gift. But what like I just got finished talking about, what we do is discipline the child or go upside the child's head. So I know she may not have liked it, but I sent her a lot of information on this is how you treat a gifted child. They're a gifted child. They're not going to act like an average child. You can't make a gifted child act like an average child because they're not an average child. This is the problem with this planet. They keep disrespecting the spirit, thinking that the spirit is not going to act. But I'm telling you, the spirit is going to act. People need to get in gear. Like I said, you say, oh, I want to go to a foreign country. Well, if you go to a foreign country, you better respect the ways of that country. You can't come to astrology and take what you want and leave everything else. It's not going to happen. You're cursing yourself. Use astrology for the reason that it was made, and you'll see the blessings and the benefits that you want to see, hope to see. So, okay, the square is challenging between your 10th house of career with your 6th house of work. But I already told you, your 6th house could also be whatever job you have. Some people work from home, or they have a home-like type of situation. But this is all about karma, and you got something going on there with that Virgo. But it's a challenging square. And ironically, it could possibly be your soulmate with the Venus love and everything. Everything looks so beautiful in your 6th house with that Virgo energy. And then you go up to your 10th house, that square, and there go your retrogrades, and things is really out there. So it looks like it's almost a squaring off of your soulmate and your twin flame. And your twin flame is somebody you shared many past lives with, and that's why you got all those retrogrades. And also, medium Coeli is part of your true north node. So that's going to be Sagittarius or Capricornian energy. So your finances are kind of connected to your true north node, which we already found out. But medium Coeli also, your career and finances are part of your life purpose. All right, so let's do Saturn retrograde. Okay, so Saturn is the other social planet. Jupiter, and Saturn. It's going to slow everything down, but when you have Saturn retrograde, you're going to work hard. The taskmaster. So I don't know how that's going for you. And again, I'm gonna express this as best I can. With Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius, that means everything I read about that 9th house could come under this taskmaster. Juno at 0 degrees is telling you that this is going to be some type of Uranus energy, because that's 0 degree, the Fool card. And remember, I told you, on your chart, it's a lot of restarts, a lot of starting overs and stuff like that. I already explained that why. Well, 0 degrees is the novice, something new, something not really solidified. But again, it is Uranus energy as well, so it may also be starting over as well. So this love is going to have a whole lot of what I call bipolar themes to it. This relationship with Juno. And also, Saturn retrograde would definitely, in the 10th house, would definitely be your employer or some source of authority. If it's not your employer directly, it's still some sense, some whatever of authority. So Saturn retrograde, one of the social planets, Saturn slows everything down, but in retrograde it can be a tough taskmaster. It's going to make you work harder, take longer to think things through. For the actions, for your actions and the events around you. And they're warning you. There are no shortcuts. Remember I said escapism? Because that's escapism. Oh, I'm gonna do it my way. No, not with Saturn retrograde. Will be no shortcuts. Saturn is going to do its best to force you to do it the way it's supposed to be done. Now, I got Saturn retrograde in my 9th house in Aquarius. And Saturn retrograde could be no nonsense. So you shouldn't rush anything, shouldn't take no shortcuts. And right now, they just kept telling me honesty, like it's going to blow up in your face. If you try anything now with dishonesty or like I said, shortcuts or doing it the way you know it ain't supposed to be done, but you're going to do it anyway, that shit's going to blow up in your face. And right now I'm telling you, Jupiter is retrograde. But I said it would do you well to listen to any video I did on this full moon or Jupiter retrograde or whatever. I got 2 channels. It would do you well to make time to listen to them, because it's in your chart. So they tell you to take time, slow down, breathe, and do things right the first time. Like one thing they tell me in my job, the customers say, you're so patient, and it's not really that I'm so patient. It's just that, first off, I'm old school, so I was trained in customers always right. Alright, so she thanked me for the information I sent her. Alright, so now we're going to move on. I know I was saying something else, but then something got in. But don't worry. I know I'm in the 10th house, so we good. Just all kind of shit be popping off. Alright. Alright, so we still dealing with Saturn retrograde. Alright, so Saturn retrograde gonna slow everything down. Learn how to do it right the first time. No shortcuts. Don't lie. Because anything you do is gonna blow up. I'm just letting you know. And if you lie, if you do shortcuts, even escapism, that's why Neptune retrograde is right in that same area. All this stuff is being addressed. Why? Because probably in the past life, you had a problem with this stuff. So now they're bringing it all to fruition. And what it really seemed like to me is that you and your twin was just like at it. And now what happened is they're going in the past life. And now it's being brought here to be dealt with in this life. So now you may have issues with authority. Now remember, issues with authority, and you got Sagittarius right there, which represents higher law. Now what that really means is higher. It's going to be higher penalties. Like you may even feel like, damn, why they so hard on me? Like you see somebody do something, and from your perspective, wow, they did it, and it wasn't that serious. I do it, and all of a sudden, like it's like the whole world stopped. So that's why. So you got that on your natal chart. See, like I said, people talk a lot of, like with me, here's the deal. Not bragging or boasting, but I lived a good life. I lived longer than most of my peers ain't alive no more. And it's not that they so old, it's that my peers was into a lot of stuff. From whatever. Having unprotected sex, thugism, you name it. My friends was all into this. And most of them are not here. And I got people that was mouthing off. They all gone. People that put their hands on me, say when I was younger, they did. And again, everything I'm saying is the result of what y'all could call karma. It's not like I did anything to any of these people. So people can say what they want to, but the reason why I stay the way I am is because I see the results of people that don't. People gonna do what they want to, make up their own rules, think it don't matter. All these people, they ain't around no more. And if they are around, their lives are effed up, really messed up. So that's why they're telling you Saturn retrograde is saying this is how it's supposed to be done. Start training yourself. And the good thing about it, that's why I said the reason why the people that got you in this matrix, they don't want you to understand spirituality. They want you to think God is so distant. God ain't thinking about you. God don't care. But that's the biggest lie. I think that's the biggest lie that's told. God is like he want to be right next to you. Like really, like you got to open up. You open up to him, he open up to you. Because that's what you're really gonna need. Like if they could take me, they could throw me in isolation. I wouldn't care. They could throw me in person. I don't know. I'm already trained. Like I've been here. I've been through like hell on earth and back. None of that shit fazed me. I could care less. I'm not looking for it, but I ain't worrying about it at the same time. Because I understand the all importance is having some type of relationship with God. Because all this shit can come and go. And if you live long enough, you done had it and you done lost it. Like I know people that had a lot of money and then they ain't have nothing again. I know people that was broke, they made a whole lot of money, then lost it. You got to try to get it again. So when you really realize that the only consistency, the only thing that really matters is God. And that's why, ironically, Saturn is a big picture in all of this. Saturn is a big picture in all of this with the discipline. Saturn is a big picture in all this and karma and all that. Because he's like Cronus. He's the timekeeper. So now what happens is when you work on legal matters such as contracts or deals, you might see delays. If you have any court situations, it might be delayed. Business contracts delayed. Deadlines might get extended. But now this is the crazy thing. You might find yourself working on something you thought was already complete. So you thought it was done, but when you go back to check it, it wasn't, or some crazy shit. But if you're listening to this whole reading I did, you saw some crazy stuff happening while I was doing this reading. But that makes sense to me because that's that Saturn retrograde energy. Now, Saturn retrograde in a past life, you probably were always in conflict with authority. Whether this life or a past life. You may feel persecuted by your boss or somebody else in authority. But you may also have a problem with abusing situations. So again, you would have to clear that up because remember, anything you do is coming back worse than what you did based on your planet arrangement and house arrangement on your chart. Also, Saturn retrograde means that you might have a problem setting limitations. Because Saturn's all about discipline. So when it's retrograde, it's the opposite. So you have to have patience. Saturn retrograde indicates you don't have patience. So now you have to learn a lesson of patience and accountability of yourself and others. And don't abuse your authority, and don't let anybody abuse their authority or over you. Now Uranus retrograde tells you to expect the unexpected. That's what I mean by bipolar. Surprises come out of nowhere. So this Uranus retrograde means that things may come that you like. Whims of fancy, they amaze and amuse. But then again, they can also come with chaotic around you or in the world. So again, here's a bipolar. What do I mean by bipolar? Let's say somebody kind of quiet and reserved. When Uranus retrograde, all of a sudden now they come loose and now they wild. Now they become aggressive. So what would be perceived as bipolar, but that's Uranus retrograde. So Uranus retrograde means this person is somewhat extreme. They're either going to be an extreme extrovert or an extreme introvert. They don't have a middle ground. They don't have no gray area. So in one of your previous lives, you were probably a rebel, revolutionary. You were always fighting the establishment or looking for some type of battle or trying to make things fair. So they tell you have to get away from that. So you have to learn about compromise, giving an inch. Also, you got to realize you can't be everywhere. So you can't really control what other people do. So when you learn how to deal with this, you learn compassion and learn how to see life from other people's perspective. So that's Uranus retrograde. So all this is going on in your 10th house of career. So if you don't have control over it, of course it's going to correct your career. And again, you have to be careful because Sagittarius is there, which could mean higher law. Doesn't have to mean it, but it could mean it. But because you have so many things indicating law on your chart, we warn you to be careful. And again, all this is going to be connected to Ma Dukes. Whether you know it or not, metaphysically connected to Ma Dukes as well. And when you hear Non-Nania talk, a lot of times she talks about her Ma Dukes. And if you listen very closely, a lot of times she associates her mother with the people she feel are harassing her. But you got to listen to her. Because even me saying that, right away you don't know what I just said. Because you say, oh, it doesn't make sense. So you think, well, he must have made that up. Or maybe he misunderstood. No, you go listen. See, everything she's saying is in astrology. But you would have to listen. So you will see that your Ma Dukes is connected to that 10th house. And anywhere where you see moon on your chart at number 18, her Ma Dukes will be connected to that. And I'm sure her Ma Dukes is also connected to the twin flame situation as well. And you see right there the soulmate situation in that 4th house. Her mom is right there conjunct to both of them. So it is what it is. You just have to understand how astrology works, how the universe really works. And then this is no secret. That's why even if you go to churches, a lot of churches have a mother. And you say, wait a minute, that sounds Catholic to me. If it sounds Catholic to Mother Mary, how come these Protestant churches got mothers in their churches? Like go to the Baptist church, they got old women they call mother and all that, mother of the church and all that. Because whether they know it or not, they're acting out astrology. That's why. That's the real reason why. They'll give you some other reason, but even if it's tribal. But why did the tribes do it? Because it's astrology. It's Imum Coeli in the 4th house. And that woman represents the embodiment of the family as a whole, and somehow she'll receive messages because of it. All right. Now, in your 11th house, you got Capricorn in your 11th house. Now, this could be serious, but this could be a person who has learned how to turn friends, association, and groups into a business, because Capricorn represents business or employment. Or it could just be more of a serious-minded situation in your 11th house. But it kind of looks like your 11th house and your 10th house are connected. And because Sagittarius is in your 10th house, it's also connected to your 9th house. But you have the escapist in Neptune. But that's going to take you to where you see Pisces at. And it'll probably also take you to your 11th house as well. But unfortunately, we try to get away from escapism, because how are we going to deal with reality if we're running or we're dealing with escapism? So we want to get away from that. But when you see 12, again, it's going to take you right to where Pisces is, because Neptune is 12. That's the hangman, Neptune energy. Now Mars retrograde. And again, this isn't good because you're dealing with people that can fly off the handle, road rage, and you're dealing with escapism. So you're dealing with a lot. This is like a person want to get drunk and get high and get drunk, and then they still want to be out there wilding. Like a person that think they're going to duke it out with the police and all that. And that's why you got like 25s around. This is the law, and everything we said. So Mars retrograde. And even before we do Mars retrograde, let's just do Neptune retrograde real quick. See, Neptune retrograde, it's escapism, getting away, maybe getting drunk, getting high, but it also helps you with increased intuition. So therefore, you can hear more and more intuitive stuff with a Neptune retrograde. And that's why I say that's why you're able to make a business out of it in your 11th house with friends, association, and groups, because you can use those intuitive powers as well. So wherever you see Neptune retrograde, a person might become more intuitive. They may be more involved with esoteric matters, dreams, and psychic abilities. So again, Neptune retrograde is somebody that wants to escape reality. And this person they're just like Scorpio. They ain't going to tell you nothing. So nobody really knows what's going on inside this person's mind with this Neptune retrograde. And this person may daydream a lot. All right. So this person, Neptune retrograde, they're gonna really be drifting off into their own little world. And these people could also be delusional, especially if they start getting high or getting drunk. Because the more they do that, the more delusional they become. And of course, that's probably gonna mess their business up as well, because they got a business with friends, association, and groups. That's probably their customer base. Neptune retrograde can be one of the most dangerous retrograde positions in the astrological chart. Why? Because this is the escapist. And they may, like I said, rely on alcohol and all that. But remember, Neptune also connects you to mysticism, esoteric things. So again, that's more Scorpio information as well. And then, like I said, Mars retrograde. See, bipolar, that passive aggressive. But the person might they handle it inside, but you just have to be careful because they blow up. Like those are the people that act like they ain't that upset or they really ain't that bothered by it, but they are. And then, could be traffic jam, anything. They just blow up. So Mars retrograde is a person who has difficulty speaking up for themselves. They may lack self-confidence, or they might put all these self-imposed emotional blocks on themselves. So they look to other people to speak up for them, and when other people don't speak up for them, then they get even madder. They get real mad, and they tend to feel like they're being a doormat to other people. Like, oh, I'm a nice person, so they walk on me. And the only time these people really speak up is when they really pissed off. All right. So Mars retrograde could be somebody that feel like they're a doormat for the person they're in a love relationship with, and they're not going to speak up. They expect other people to speak up for them, and then when the people don't speak up for them, they get madder. But it's all internal. And then when they finally do speak up, it's like the blowing point. It could be traffic, it could be anything, and they just lose their freaking mind. And then I believe you see that 12 with your Mars retrograde. Again, remember, 12 is a Neptune card. It's the hangman card. That's somebody in suspension. That's like somebody that's incarcerated. And remember, 12 rules Pisces, which is the 12th house, really. And the 12th house is all about incarceration. So this person with the Neptune retrograde, they have got to learn how to be productive, smile, breathe easy, let it go. All right. So that's pretty much it. Aquarius in the 12th house, like I said, your 12th house really is about service. So Aquarius in the 12th house is about serving a community of friends, associating in groups. And Aquarius may bring some knowledge that could help the masses, but you would have to wait to see what that knowledge was and how you could help it. All right, so this does complete this analysis of the person's natal chart, and we'll be having more coming as well. And also, people are still working on the everything with April, full moon, things of that nature as well. So we still got some sales going on. Check them out. Some of those sales might be ended. I'm not sure which ones. Make sure you check it out. All the information you need. You can always check the channel, but even in the description box for any questions that you might have. So now, like I said, natal chart like this, a lot of information was given. So the person really has to, study it, take notes, and things of that nature. And remember, in the event if you have a chart and things that was mentioned, you say, well, that stuff's not going on yet. Remember, it could have to do with your past, your present, and also just because it's not going on just at this moment doesn't mean it won't be going on later on today and things like that. So always be aware of that. Stay alert as well. This is Gat. God bless.